Hello, and welcome
Hi.
to another Fracking podcast. I'm Joseph. I'm here with my co-hosts.
Marty.
Van.
And if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. Thank you for tuning in again. Otherwise, and thank you so much for joining us. We're so glad to have you back. Today's episode is Fluffy Interlude, and we'll be discussing pets in sci-fi, but also personal pets.
Yay!
So I'm going to add something to the stage, and we're going to start off rolling into this a little bit different. Nope, I want to do this. This is what I want to do.
Look at that.
Look
Little
at
rebel.
face.
I mean,
I
look,
don't know how you got a cat that looks like your cat's little brother so much.
It was really special. Dagger is definitely a special pet, and he's such a sweetheart. And he loves everybody, so he's just fantastic. He's just so curious.
I cannot get over the fact that you have a bandana around his neck.
Originally, he had the bandana and a cowboy hat on, but he started eating the hat. So he found the bandana wasn't so bad, but the hat he thought was a little bit crazy. But he's so fun. He's a cat that you can do anything to, and he's okay with it.
He's so adorable.
I love him so much.
And then speaking of adorable,
and then Watson,
his face in every photo.
He always looks so done with everybody.
I mean, he's my spirit animal.
He is. Everybody is like, why is he so angry? And I'm like, he's not angry. It's just the way his markings are. He always looks angry. But I don't know. Now that he's a little bit older, I'm thinking, maybe he just is. He's just that grumpy old man. It's just that he's like the guy from Dennis the Menace. He's just like, get off my lawn. Like the reason they're wearing the hat and the bandanas, these photos were taken on Dagger's first birthday last month. And so this was his birthday party. We had a little dress up because my cats have to cosplay too, right?
I mean, obviously.
I fully support the fact that your cats have to cosplay, and he just gives me Garfield vibes, and I love Garfield. So
I mean, he will eat anything. So he did steal a potato off my plate last week, and I haven't found the potato yet, so I'm assuming he ate it.
That love.
And there they are.
They're so precious.
They don't often sit close to each other, so this photo was actually like kind of a small miracle. I think they're waiting for me to bring them treats or something, or waiting for me to sit down so they can take over my lap.
Probably.
But now that the fireplace is on, they spend a little bit more time closer to each other.
That's so sweet.
I love them.
I will sit next to you now that there is fire to sit near.
Exactly.
It's fine.
They do look like brothers, though. Look at this one.
This is my sweetheart.
Oh, those ears. I love them.
Gria Annika. I named her Annika, which is a whole long story. But the summary is I got her, and my sister had named her. And I was taking her to the vet, and they asked me her name, and it was like really early in the morning because their books were full, so I just kept calling every morning trying to get a cancellation. So it's early in the morning. I haven't even finished my first coffee, and I'm like not wanting to try and explain and spell out the name my sister gave her. So I said Annie. Why I said Annie, I have no idea. But we then decided to make her middle name Annika. So we're like, okay, your middle name's Annika. That's where Annie comes from.
I love her face.
She's so sweet. She's so sweet. The vet could not do anything about her sight, though, unfortunately, which was what I was wanting. But she gets around very, very well. She doesn't do as much climbing as a regular cat, but she's so sweet.
So adorable.
And sleeps on me every night. Yes, this is her
Oh.
preferred position, is laying on top of me all the time. She will chase me around the house and scream at me until I lay down sometimes because she would like a proper nap.
I love her.
I mean, you have one job, and your job is to be her bitch, and that's okay.
And this is Saga. Saga is
Fluffy.
the only purebred dog I have ever owned. I have loved getting rescues, but he's the only purebred dog I've ever owned, and we didn't actually do enough research into Norwegian elk hounds before we got him. Because I probably would have been like, no, this sounds terrible. They're loud like huskies. They're incredibly hard to train because they're incredibly intelligent, but super like hard-headed. They'll just like, you teach them something and they'll be like, okay, now that I understand it, I will choose whether or not I complete this task. But
I love Saga. I am just going to say, go ahead. Sorry.
You did meet Saga, didn't you? He's so
Saga
sweet.
is just a force of nature, and I love him.
I don't think I've ever seen a Norwegian elk hound in person.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Bigger than average. I have been told he's bigger than average. But they're so sweet. Everything I've ever heard about them, people will see him in public, and if they know what a Norwegian elk hound is, they're so excited to see him because they love Norwegian elk hounds. And he barks all the time, but he's not angry. He's just talkative. He just talks. So anyone who knows what a Norwegian elk hound is, they're like, yeah, they're all loud all the time. But everyone says they're loud all the time, but they are the sweetest dogs, and they will protect any child, regardless if it is their child or somebody else's child. Like, they're all good with kids. And it's true. He absolutely adores my kids. He adores every kid he has ever met. He thinks babies are the coolest thing on the planet. He's like, I love these things. And normally he's really, really, like, I was concerned with him around babies not paying attention and knocking them over just because we call him a himbo, but he's like so gentle. Highly recommend them as long as you can handle loud.
Yeah, I mean, Christina said it best. Saga is the best, and we will not be taking questions on that. And he has definitely got things to say.
He's got so much to say.
And
so much to say.
Oh, who is this?
This is Daisy. She is 9 now. So this is my old puppy. She is the sweetest puppy on the planet. She is my daughter. She has a sensitive stomach, so like a lot of meds she can't have, several foods that she can't have. She can't have wheat. It makes her super itchy and she feels gross. She's got anxiety problems and takes anxiety pills every day.
I think Daisy and I are related.
Yeah, no, she's my child.
Like, yes. Or Daisy. I know your struggles well.
She's when she decides she likes you, which takes a while, she absolutely loves and adores you. But to get there sometimes is a struggle, and some people never get there. And she actually might nibble on people because she is part herding dog. So she's like, I would like you to like stay where I tell you to stay. So if she's like extra stressed out by people being there that she doesn't know, or large crowd, she'll be like, can you guys just like congregate over here and like not near my sheep over here? She's perfect though. She's
what a
lovely
lovely face.
Her puppy dog eyes are like cartoonishly intense. Like it should not be physically possible to be able to pout and look that cute. It should not be possible. It should only happen in cartoons. It's awful. She gets away with everything. As she
I
should.
love her too. Okay, so we brought up those pets because, I mean,
They're cute.
they're also sci-fi. Like we live in a sci-fi universe. I have just determined that we do live in a sci-fi universe, and it's not the best one, but
It's not.
definitely not the best one. But they are sci-fi pets. Okay, so I'm going to be completely honest with y'all. This week has been crazy, so I did not rewatch a lot of things I wanted to rewatch.
There are actually some on this list that I don't really know, so I'm excited to hear from somebody who does know.
Okay.
Ooh, I'm curious now.
Yeah.
Okay, like,
I've
so
got
we're
my-
going to start off with one of my favorite movie franchises ever.
Yay!
Mine
we're going to
too.
start off with Jonesy.
So
Jonesy.
we love Jonesy. Obviously, Jonesy is a cat. We love cats. Jonesy is an orange cat, and Marty has cosplayed using
Yes.
her orange cat for Jonesy.
Yes. Watson makes a good Jonesy because he just like I really feel that if Watson were on the Nostromo, he would just be like, I don't have time for you, alien. I don't have time for you. I don't have time for all of these men on this ship that aren't listening to the woman. Like, who's gonna feed me? Like,
He has his
He's-
priorities straight, honestly.
he would
where's
be
the
like,
food coming from?
he'd be like, who's gonna survive? Because that's the person that has to feed me. And I think, but I
Jonesy
love
knew.
Jonesy. Jonesy knew. I think it's great that they put a cat into this movie because to me it just symbolizes like it's kind of like a reflection of Ripley herself. I feel like the fact that the cat and the woman are the only ones to survive this ship.
I
Yeah, how now?
mean,
We get a childless cat lady to start the franchise. I love it.
Exactly.
look, Sigourney Weaver probably insisted on Jonesy. I'm just going to say that. I have no basis in fact on this, but it feels like something that she would do. I don't have any secret insight into this, but come on, look at this. It's just the perfect shot.
They are perfect. I really think he adds a lot to the movie. Also, we get some pretty fun scenes with him.
I think it also adds like a level of like it shows her compassion not only for her crew and the people but also for this animal that she's not going to like she's going to go back for this cat regardless of what might happen to her because it's like the captain going down with the ship or something like you're going to do everything you can to help whoever is left and even if it's an animal. So I think it tells us a lot about her character a lot. And I think it also kind of is a foreshadowing to the whole this idea of like a Van brought up like childish cat lady, but this idea of motherhood that kind of follows Ripley throughout the series. So my only problem was like in the second movie when she left him, I kept wondering who's taking care of Jonesy.
Where's
Like-
Jonesy?
Like she left him in the apartment, and I'm just like, somebody's gonna check on the cat, right? Like,
Look,
Like, I hope.
as far as I am concerned, Jonesy like outlives everybody and is perfectly safe and happy, and nobody experiments on Jonesy because nobody could be that cruel. That's just
Exactly.
the way it is.
That's how that works. I agree. Amazing addition to the movie. I think they ended up using 4 different cats for the role.
I think you're right because I think there was like the 4 cats they could each do 4 major tricks or something like that, and so they had to like substitute the cats in for each trick.
Yeah, that sounds like a cat though. Like, I will do this one particular thing. That's it. That's all you get.
And my
I
favorite
mean,
thing
this
is like the cat survives. That's like important to
Yes.
me in a
Yes.
movie, especially a sci-fi movie. And so
Okay.
I love that.
and I
Spoilers.
know that this is something that Susie has said in the past, but like also for me, if I see animals being hurt in a movie, it's a immediate no for me. Like
Yeah.
I'm not
I
down.
feel like the older I get, the harder it is for me too. Like there are
Yeah.
some. I recently tried to watch a movie that people have been raving about for years, and I had to stop it halfway because of an animal scene. I'm like, I'm sorry, they lost me at that point. It
Yeah.
didn't seem necessary, and I just was like, I'm done.
I need a trigger warning at the beginning for sure because I need them to tell me like, do animals get hurt? Do kids get hurt? Okay, like adults, humans,
I mean,
but like,
most
does the
most
cat live?
movies,
I need to know.
if a lot of the adults in most movies are characters that you want to get hurt, is all I'm gonna say. Like you're
Well,
like,
this is fair. This is fair.
that's
This is fair.
okay. But pets never deserve it, right?
Yeah,
And like
especially not orange cats.
No, not
Like,
orange.
I draw
cats.
the line at orange cats.
They're so
like
cute.
so kind of going back to like our horror Pet Cemetery,
Yeah,
like
Ooh,
is
no, did not like it.
one of those movies I don't like, mainly because of like how it portrays animals. It just I don't like it. It creeps me out.
yeah, I struggle
The
with it.
the animals and the kids in Pet Cemetery, like either one of those is like a solid no for me. And then you put them both together, and I'm like, why does anyone on the planet like this? Like,
Yeah.
you're entitled to your opinion, except this one. I don't like this opinion.
And it's one of those movies, like, I usually like Stephen King stuff. I mean, for the most part, but that's one of his things that I'm just like, no, no. Okay, so you have to go see Alien again, Alana, is all I'm gonna say.
Yes,
Oh,
Like
yeah.
you have to see it again.
It
that's
is
important.
always worth a rewatch.
Absolutely worth a rewatch. Okay, let's move on to the next.
To another cat?
I mean, it seems like there's a trend here.
Yes.
Orange cats are cute.
Orange cats survive. They're survivors.
Yes, they're survivors. I really loved the addition of Spot on Star Trek: The Next Generation. To have an android be like the only person that you see on the Enterprise with a pet. Like, he's trying so hard to do human things, to try and be human, to try and understand what it's like. And he names his cat Spot, which is perfect. Like, Spot doesn't have any spots. If anything,
Great.
Spot has stripes.
I love
Well,
Spot because sorry.
No, go.
No, I was just gonna say, I feel like Spot is the culmination of Data's entire character arc. And I know that we have all expressed our feelings about Star Trek Picard in the past, but I think that final scene with Data in season 3 of Picard, I won't spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it, but like, it just brings together his humanity. And I feel like Spot, his journey with Spot from the Next Generation through the movies and then into Star Trek Picard, it shows us how human he actually is as a character, and in a way maybe more human than some of the other characters because he had this connection with Spot and he used Spot as a means to teach himself humanity, which I think is interesting. You're using an animal to teach yourself how to be human. I mean, fantastic.
I have to say that before he gets his emotion chip, right? Before the movies where he's using the emotion chip, Spot is where you see Data expressing emotion and he doesn't even realize it.
Yeah.
Like when he's, I think, who was he? Was he talking to Barkley where he's like, you have to like pet Spot and tell him he's a good boy. And he like, there's so much emotion.
Yeah.
But yet
Yeah,
no
that
emotion.
scene with Worf.
That's right.
Where Worf has to babysit Spot for him for a while.
That's right. It was Worf.
I love Worf. Yeah. Like, really?
And then the interaction between like Riker and Spot is also hilarious. Like Data goes through all the command crew basically like seeing if they can watch Spot when he has to go away, and Spot doesn't like anybody but Barkley. He loves Barkley. It's just
Who is interesting because Barclay is actually probably the closest to Data, like
I was gonna say,
personality wise. Yeah, I mean, he
yeah,
is like a human version of Data in a way, who's also struggling with discovering himself and finding out how he fits in with the rest of the crew. So that's an interesting comparison. Yeah.
it really is. And like Spot's a very aggressive cat, and I think this is just my in my mind space, right? He's very protective of people who are innocent to some extent and even anxious. Not that Data is anxious, but he comes across different, right? And so does Barkley. And like, Data could be compared to, neurodivergent people, right? A comparison like, hey, Spot just is protective, and he doesn't like normies at all. Can't
Yeah.
stand Riker. Just attacked Riker.
I think
Just
it's interesting too, because I think that, in Star Trek, there's this interesting pattern of parents and children, right? And there aren't that we've talked kind of before that there aren't that many really good or successful parents in the Star Trek franchise. But I feel like, Data in a way, like Spot is kind of like his practice towards parenthood as well. And I feel like it's one of the few examples where it is successful. Like he does take care of this animal. He has like his own version of compassion for it. He makes sure he's being cared for when he's not around. And then we see finally in the films and stuff how important Spot actually is to him, in the same way that you would think that the other characters who do have children would respond to their own children, but we don't actually get to see that.
Right. I mean,
we still need to do the episode of parents in sci-fi. It might just need to be parents in Star Trek.
I mean, I think parents in Star Trek, there's a lot there to work with.
Yeah, there's just so much to work with. We don't need to include any other franchise. Because wow,
I have some strong feelings about parents in Star Trek. I'm not going to let myself go off topic.
We'll just do that in another podcast, Joseph, and you can have all your feelings. Let them all out.
Anyway, now
our next cat.
Our next cat.
Star Trek has a lot of cats, but Chester from Deep Space Nine, I think he shows up in like 3 episodes, maybe 4. I think he's discussed.
He's discussed.
Like 1 line or 2 lines in several more episodes. But what a fluffy sweetheart. You don't see him a lot. I'm sure they had multiple cats playing him also. That seems to be a trend. Anytime I looked up Star Trek, cats, they were like, oh yeah, we had all these other cats playing this one singular cat. I don't know that Chester added anything huge or significant to any of the plots. Definitely not in the way that Jonesy or Spot does. But it's just so cute to me that like we're in the future, we're at a space station in the middle of nowhere, and there's this cat that needs a home, and the cat distribution system is like, we got this.
Well, I think the thing that he adds is like the reason why O'Brien has Chester, right? Like it's a constant reminder to him of like what he probably one of the things that he regrets the most is not being able to save what's his name? See, I can remember Chester. I can't remember.
I could remember the cat. I had to look up the basics of the plot of the episode, which I did not rewatch.
Is this the episode where he's like undercover?
Yeah. And so
and
the person he's engaging with while undercover ends up dying, and he feels guilty. He feels responsible for it. But the thing is, like, here's this like intergalactic gangster, and he's doing all these horrible things, and he's trying to move up in the Orion Syndicate. And the only thing he's most concerned about is like, hey, will you watch Chester for me? Not the fact that he's about to go and die, and he knows he's about to go and die. It's like he's worried about his cat, and he's always worried about the cat. And this, so every time I saw Chester after that, it was just a reminder of that episode.
Mm.
And that's one of the things I loved about Deep Space Nine is that there's this continuity between episodes that you don't necessarily see in a lot of other Trek series. I think you get more of it in Voyager than you do,
Yeah.
in TNG or anything else. But
For me, I always thought Chester was important for his daughter, because there were a few episodes where she would bring up Chester, or they would be going someplace and she'd be asking, can Chester come with us? And to me, it felt like them trying to put some normalcy into their lives. They're in this location that is on the brink of war. It's dangerous. And yet he still has a wife and child at home that he has to try and make things normal for. And I think that Chester added a sense of normalcy for Keiko and their daughter. And then for their son as well eventually. But my cat before Watson was named Chester. So I like
It's
Chester.
a good cat name. It's a good cat name.
it's a good cat name.
He's a good cat. This takes us to our next cat, which is, in my opinion, just a queen. Grudge.
I mean, there is no
I'm in
doubt.
love.
Look at
I don't think this cat had a stand-in. I think there was only one cat for this one, right? I think they only had one cat filming on this set.
I got distracted looking it up because Book and Grudge are both gorgeous in very different ways. And I'm easily distracted. And I've been super busy. So I have no idea if it was one cat or 30. But if they found more than one cat with that much like screen presence, round of applause. Because any moment Grudge is on screen at all, perfection.
Steals the show. Yeah.
Even when she's just like sleeping on a console, she is commanding the entire scene. She's perfect. No notes. She has so much personality. They use her so well because she acts like a cat. And even though Book looks human, he is in fact not human. He's an alien. So this alien adopted a cat, which is a very like human Earth pet. He has her, and she is everything to him. Their relationship is so cute. Like, that is his best friend.
Okay, so I am looking this up because I am curious, and it was played by a singular cat, and the cat's name is Liu, Leeu, however you pronounce that.
Leeu. Oh, it's a Dutch word.
Liu. Okay, Liu.
Ooh.
It means lion.
That
Okay,
makes sense.
well, that makes a lot of sense now.
I think.
But basically, 2-year-old, 18-pound Maine Coon cat.
Wow.
She's
Amazing.
a big girl.
That definitely had trainers. And they all said that she was a very well-behaved cat.
I think it's really interesting, and I don't know if this is I'll have to think about this, if this is a Star Trek thing or something, but to me, whenever I see a character on screen and they have a connection to an animal, that tells me something about that character, right? Because people who are animal people, to me, there's always like a fundamental difference between somebody who is an animal person and somebody who doesn't like animals or doesn't have animals in their lives. And I've always found it interesting that there were so many cat men in Star Trek.
Yes.
They're men who like form this attachment to cats, because cats, like, I feel like they are they can be affectionate, but they're affectionate on their own terms.
Mhm.
And they're very independent, but at the same time, they do require people to help them survive, if you have them. And of course, if you have them in space, they're dependent on whoever they're with. So I always thought it was interesting which characters, particularly the male characters in Star Trek, were cat people. I don't know.
Speaking of cat people, it didn't count as a pet, but in the original series, we have Cat's paw, and Spock just walks over
Yeah.
and like he carries the cat around, petting the cat. Um, so
That's true.
men who are great with
Forgot about
cats,
that.
we love it.
Yeah.
We love to see it. We need more of
Now,
it.
Like,
before
it
we
doesn't
move on to
surprise. Oh, I was gonna
No,
say,
no,
like,
go.
it doesn't surprise me that we see these characters with cats, and then we have Picard with his dogs. You know what I mean? Like, to me, I'm like, yeah, it makes sense that Picard is a dog guy. I don't know what that says about me or says about Picard, but like, I don't know.
I'm going to be honest. I've only ever had dogs because I'm allergic to cats, and it makes me really sad. Now, I can be in proximity to cats, but touching cats usually results in a bad response. So it makes me sad because I love cats, but I can't have one.
It makes me sad too.
Now, I've been taking allergy treatments. I actually stopped taking it about a year ago because, I don't know, it's hard for me to remember to do something regularly. And so I'm not as bad as I used to be, but it's still like, I want a cat. I want a big fluffy cat. Anyway,
They're so much fun.
now we're not mentioning, or we don't have a slide for this, right? But Barclay in Voyager has a cat named Neelix, and I forgot all
That's
about that.
right. He does.
Yeah. And I
You're
believe it's an orange
right.
cat.
It probably is.
Totally left my mind, but it goes back to show like Barclay is a cat person.
Yeah.
And I think this is why Spot definitely liked Barclay.
I think so too.
But we have to move on. But we don't have to move on. We should move on.
We can go ahead and move on to...
I have a lot to say about the next one.
Yeah, we can spend some time here.
Porthos.
First off, Porthos is my favorite character in Enterprise. I will not be taking any notes. Second off, Archer is a terrible pet dad, and I will also not be taking any notes. He's terrible. Yes,
I was waiting for the Archer hate.
Slander is coming. We're gonna talk about him. I'm sorry. No. He's such a bad pet dad.
He's not responsible enough to have a dog in space. I feel like
hilarious because he's got a whole fucking ship.
I would love to see a scene where Archer and Janeway meet, and Janeway was like, "What?" Like, because Janeway deserved to have her dog in space, and she couldn't have her dog in space. She couldn't take Molly with her. And I'm
probably
just like,
because of Archer.
Probably because of Archer. I do love Porthos though. And but that episode where he takes Porthos down to the planet where he proves that he's a bad, dog dad. Where he takes Porthos down to the planet and Porthos, does his doggy thing against the sacred tree, and then the people of the planet want to have Porthos removed from the world, eternally. I mean, just proof that Archer was not prepared for his mission at all, and that he didn't have any care for his poor dog.
Look,
the amount of times that poor dog got cheese, like, it's not that hard not to give your dog cheese. If your dog can't handle cheese, don't give your dog cheese.
I'm so glad that they had the doctor in the series tell him on multiple occasions, don't give your dog cheese. Because, but you're right, he still didn't learn. Like, did he ever stop giving him cheese? I don't think so.
I think so.
So I am messing with my camera because I noticed that it was like crooked. And I am, look, anyway. Sorry, I got distracted.
I do love Porthos though. Every episode that Porthos is in it's for me, it's a gem because I'm just like, yes, Porthos is in this episode. Excellent.
And they have that episode where like the Ferengi board and they're like discussing Porthos, like, maybe we could sell him to some like weird exotic pet collector.
The other thing I
Porthos.
liked about Porthos was his effect on T'Pol, because in the beginning, T'Pol is like, she's struggling with first of all, she's struggling with the humans because they already smell to
Yeah,
her.
Right.
And then they add Porthos into the mix, and she's just like, but by the third and fourth season, like you see her sitting there petting Porthos, and I'm just like, what an interesting like change like in her character and her development, that she has become a little bit more human, and a little bit more attached to this animal than she normally would have been.
Yes.
Like there are two characters I love without condition on Enterprise: Trip and Porthos. Period. I love Trip.
Trip?
I love
Trip?
Trip.
Really?
I love Trip.
Oh man.
Trip has bad choices
Okay.
in Friends. But I love Trip otherwise because he's loyal. Like he's super loyal to his friends. He really is.
I mean,
And
he's
he does
I mean-
honestly love T'Pol. But he's really bad at being like look. I love seeing the character, understanding that he is bad at being a grown adult and bad at expressing his emotions. I understand that. But yet somehow he still, through his actions, shows affection.
I'll give you that.
Okay.
I'll give you that one.
But like Hoshi is so much better, without question. She's
Okay, I
perfect.
love Hoshi.
I love
Perfect.
Hoshi.
I love Hoshi. But we're talking about pets, okay? Trip is he's like the ship's pet. Is where I'm going with this.
It's not Porthos. Porthos is not the pet of Enterprise.
Porthos-
It's Trip.
Porthos basically ran Enterprise. He kept.
Like if Porthos was running Enterprise, they would have fulfilled their mission a lot sooner.
I'm going to say
This is
this.
accurate.
The only reason
There
they
would be
did
no
not
problems,
all die,
Cindy.
the only reason they did not all die, right, is because Archer would stop himself from doing something too crazy because Porthos was on the ship. That's it. That's it.
I don't think that's true.
From a general perspective,
I don't
right?
think that's true. I think that Porthos was so far in the back of his brain anytime he made an important decision that it was not relevant.
I'm simply saying that I
This
feel
man is a bad pet. Bad.
Okay,
pet,
but
bad. I don't
look,
care.
Can we at least admit that the best decontamination scene is the one that has Porthos in it? Do you remember that one?
That was my favorite.
those scenes are totally
We're like
unnecessary.
he's like cleaning Porthos, the T'Pol is cleaning him, and it's just like we're going back.
Okay.
I love
That was the best.
I have a funny story about Porthos though. Not really about Porthos, but like I recently did a rewatch of Enterprise like a few months back.
Okay.
And as I was watching it, I realized like I haven't seen a beagle since I moved to the Netherlands. And I kept saying to everybody, I'm like, do you guys have beagles here? Like, do people have beagles here? Like, is that like a thing or something? Or do people just they don't have beagles here? I don't know. I had never seen any, and they're all like, "You're crazy." And I'm like, "What do you mean I'm crazy? Like, everybody has a beagle." I'm like, "Everybody has a beagle." Like, I live across the street from the entrance to a park. Like, I see everybody and their dog every day. I haven't seen a single beagle. I told them. The minute I told them this, I left their house. I'm heading home. I see a beagle. And I have seen a beagle every single day since I finished Enterprise. It's been like now like 4 months, and I see a beagle every single day. I don't know if I was
Marty.
just blind. I don't know if I was just
Marty,
that's
I
about-
love you.
That's about the time I got the glasses. Maybe that
I kind of
I just couldn't see them.
I kind of feel like you walk through life like Doc Brown. I kid you not. Like your thing this morning. I was telling Van before he got here. I was like, in my head, there's like water spraying out of your kitchen, and it's like pandemonium, and you're like rushing to the store to get things done, and you're rushing back, and everything's short circuiting, and you're trying to log it. Like, I love you.
I mean, You're not far off. And then in my head, I was like, the only way I can fix this problem is by driving to this one store in Germany. I'm just, it's a day.
I kind of feel like, and look, I do this too, right? So like, please understand that I am just speaking about myself as well.
I know.
If I'm not hyper focused on something, it does not exist in my world, and I don't see it at all.
I mean, I'm the same person who's like, can't find the food in the fridge unless it's the shelf that's like right in front of my eyes. Like if it's on the top shelf or if it's in the vegetable drawer, it doesn't exist. It's not in the fridge. It has to be in that middle drawer that I'm looking at. So I guess it doesn't surprise me that there are beagles in the Netherlands. Or did I bring beagles? Did I manifest them into existence?
Are you like a Time Lord?
Possibly. The Beagle Time Lord.
Okay, so first
Okay,
of all,
if you are a Time Lord, we did discuss this. You actually are obligated to tell us and take us on a time adventure.
Is that
You
a
have to.
fact?
Yeah.
Is that the rule? Is that the law?
Yeah.
The fact that you're arguing this is concerning to me because you should know that this is a fact. And
Okay,
it's
yes.
mandatory. Like
We will go on so many adventures. Just listen for the sound. Just listen for the whoop whoop. And then I'll be there with my beagle.
Great. I get it.
Or with
Whoop,
everybody's
whoop.
beagles. Just show up. TARDIS door opens, beagles come running out.
I'm down for this. Okay, we're
All
moving
right,
on to our
before
next
we
pet.
move on, we should briefly discuss in the animated series we get to meet Spock's childhood pet,
Oh, that's true.
Aichaya, which is mentioned, I believe, one time in one episode of the original series.
Yes.
When Spock's parents come on board, and Bones thinks that this is the most hilarious thing because
Bones.
the pet is described as a giant teddy bear, and he thinks that's hilarious. When we do actually meet Aichaya, she's a giant teddy bear with like huge
Like claws.
Claws and fangs, and slightly different than a teeny tiny adorable teddy bear. But yeah, I feel like we need to mention that was very pivotal for Spock and his choices in his life. And then Tendi created a genetically engineered pet, which is the best dog on the planet. Well, in the universe, I guess, since they're not on a planet, but she got to keep her dog for one episode.
Or Tendi. I love Tendi.
know.
I love Tendi too.
Tendi would be my
Tendi.
best friend. Just without a doubt.
I would just want to be Tendi because green is my favorite color. And her hair is very cool.
Her hair is very cool.
You're very similar to Tendi, is all I'm saying.
It's true.
It's the green skin.
It is the green skin.
Okay. We're moving on to the next pet, which is going to shock people. But
Pet.
It's not going to shock people. Everybody agrees with me on this. I don't know why. Yeah. So obviously by this picture, we have Chewbacca and Han Solo, and it is without question agreed upon by everybody that Han Solo is the pet in this relationship.
Agreed.
I will not be
There's
taking
no
any
doubt.
notes.
there is no doubt, but I've got to say
Moving
Han
on.
Solo is one of the worst pets I've ever seen.
Listen,
He's so ill-mannered and he's not very well behaved.
sometimes you get a rescue pet and it has some quirks and you just can't train it out, okay? This is what happens.
He gets his owner into so much trouble.
Yes.
All I'm saying, poor Chewie has to put up a block.
And Chewie loves him and will do anything for him. And this is also a commercial now for spay and neuter your pets. I'm just saying. I said what I said.
I mean, if that had happened, there wouldn't be any. There wouldn't be a sequel trilogy for sure.
Exactly.
Or it would have gone very differently.
Exactly. Joseph.
The Jedi
over
Order
there
would never
having
have
a breakdown.
the second Jedi Order never would have fallen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
There's a lot to be said about who's spay and who are your pets. Oh, my God.
oh Han.
I love Han. I love him dearly. He's a pet.
It's okay. It's okay, Han.
Can I say something about Star Wars in general?
Yes.
Okay, so like before the new stuff came out, in the books, which were considered canon at the time,
Mhm.
they killed Chewie off. And I could never forgive them for doing that because Chewie is one of my favorite characters of all time. So I kind of feel vindicated in the movies where it's Han who dies and Chewie who survives. And I know that's messed
No.
up, but I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah, the books follow a very different canon.
Books were real, like they
Books were
started
really
off
good.
really cool.
They were
They
good.
started off really good, but then like the later books kind of just jumped the shark completely.
Yeah.
Is all I'm gonna say.
I like some of the newer books, especially the ones that focus on Leia and
Yeah.
Padme, because I really like expanding their characters.
Yeah, there
Because
definitely
as
is
much
a
as
good
I love
resurgence.
them, they do not get much actual character development on screen.
I wonder why.
No, I mean, there's
that's
actually a really interesting, you should look this up. There's a really interesting philosophy about women in Star Wars and how they are already fully formed the first time they appear on the screen. Like they
yes.
don't have to have a character arc. Their character arc has already occurred before they come to the screen. So unlike the male characters, they don't have to grow as characters. They're already fully grown. And this is interesting theory by some people about how that's the disservice to the female characters in Star Wars because there's nothing for them to do.
And the ones
Essentially.
that do get a character art are immensely hated by people. Like, oh, you get a character? What is this? No. But they really like the fully formed, this character is already at the end of their journey. That's a whole other podcast. We could make that a 10-part series.
I mean, talking about how Star Wars fails women. Yeah.
Sci-fi in general.
Sci-fi.
You know?
Well,
I listen, we still need to do an episode
That's true.
on Star Trek unitards.
oh my God.
I'm just
Okay,
saying.
that is sci-fi fashion failing women.
That's a lot of things.
That's true.
That's a lot of things.
I mean, they were put in those outfits not by the costume designer. Now, technically, yes, the costume designer and the costume team did like get these outfits for them, but I'm just saying that's a whole other episode that I could talk about that for a long time. Like I could talk about that for a long time.
Okay.
Moving on. Han Solo, definitely the pet. Morph. So did either of you watch Treasure Planet?
A long time ago.
A long time ago. So long ago.
I adore that movie so much.
That movie is awesome. It's not one that's easy to find, I don't think.
Mm-mm.
Disney did a disservice to that movie. Unfortunately, it is so good, but they didn't advertise or push for it. Like they decided to make it a flop because the animation techniques in it they wanted to stop using. And they gave them really good justification to move on to do what they wanted to do by like saying, here, look at this, it flopped. Well, yes, you can manufacture a flop on purpose. That you can do that. But the movie itself is absolutely phenomenal. The characters are, and I mean, it is based on Treasure Island. So most people who watch it are already familiar with the story. It's an old story. It's been redone so many times. So you get these really fleshed out characters, but you get new takes on them, and it's in space. It's so cool. I have watched it far too many times, probably. But Morph was one of my favorite characters. I mean, the cutest little guy, mischievous, can morph into anything. Super original name for your pet. But he's just the best. Does he cause problems? Yes. Does he add a lot of entertainment to the movie? Yes. Do I want one of my own? Also, yes. Yes. I would like one.
I mean, I can see why. I don't remember
so
more.
cool.
I don't remember the movie well enough to.
I don't either. Honestly, the last time I saw Treasure Planet was like when it was in theaters originally. So whatever
Guys,
year that was, that's when I saw it. I
guys
don't
are
remember.
so embarrassing.
I
I must
know.
have a DVD of it somewhere.
Take away my nerd card or my Disney card or something.
It's like on Disney Plus. It's not like
Is it?
impossible to find. I feel like it is.
If
I'm
it's
gonna
not,
go-
it should be.
I'm gonna look it
I
up
just I
now.
don't.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Disney,
But
okay,
it's
Treasure Planet watch party, everybody.
yes, I am here
To
for
get an
that.
opinion on Morph.
He's the best. He's
I
so
mean,
cool. The entire movie is cool. The soundtrack is like perfect.
I remember liking the movie. It's just not one of those things that pops up so often.
Yeah,
And
Treasure Planet, made in 2002 on Disney Plus, rated PG.
2002.
Yeah.
it
I
wasn't
thought it
that
was
long
older
ago.
than that. I thought it was older than that.
Mhm.
Just because it's like classic animation and not
I guess so.
CGI. So
I just thought I thought I was younger than when I saw it.
Captain Amelia,
I do remember Captain Amelia.
she is like a cat. And have you guys seen videos of people who have cosplayed her?
Yes.
They're so
Amazing.
incredible.
They are
So
amazing.
incredible.
we need like just cosplay guests on at some point. That's all I'm saying.
We do need guests in general, probably. Yeah, watch party, Treasure Planet.
We should have a watch party.
We would have so much fun.
Okay. So moving on.
I still
the
am
next-
disappointed. You guys don't know.
We have failed you. Sorry.
You,
I'm gonna try not to fail you guys hard on these next ones. But...
you're gonna be fine on the last one. We're almost.
I think
done.
I know this one. This is Dogmeat, right?
This is Dogmeat. This is from Fallout 3, which is my favorite Fallout and the one I have definitely played the most hours in. You pick him up and he is the best companion, and it's not impossible for him to die, but it's like really difficult for him to die. So a lot of people who figured out where you had to go and what you had to do to get the dog would immediately like run and do this as soon as they started a new game, because he's just the coolest. Like, you just get a dog. It's amazing. You're in a wasteland, you know, this is post-apocalypse, but you get a cute little dog. He's so cute. He's so wonderful. They've thrown in pets, and I believe all of the Fallout since then, but people like complained about them. So in Fallout 4 specifically, I know you basically like start the game and almost immediately walk straight into the dog in Fallout 4 because they're like, here you go. Because I think it was Fallout New Vegas that came out in between, and you did not get the pet immediately, or they didn't have a good pet. I don't remember. I hated that game so much. That's a whole other conversation. But in Fallout 4, you basically like run into the dog immediately. But Dogmeat from Fallout 3 is by far my absolute favorite. I know Fallout 76 recently got some new pets in it, I believe. It's more of an online game, and I don't play online, so I don't really play it. But yeah, I find it hilarious and adorable that humans are humaning all the time. And by that, I mean they're playing this post apocalyptic game and they're like, I want a pet. I want a dog. And the dog
I mean, it makes sense.
has
It
to
makes sense
live.
to me.
You need to make this dog immortal.
I
So
mean, yes. If you want me to play the game, yes.
Yeah. I mean, I've actually never played the game. If my sister is watching, my sister is like I don't know, she wants to be a professional Fallout player or whatever those are. She's really good, and she made her own cosplay. She's incredible. So I know a little bit about it from him, or from her about the dog. But I did see the series, and the dog like had me on edge for the whole series because I didn't know, because I'd never played the game. I didn't know what was going to happen to the dog. So every episode, I was just like, oh, this better go well for the dog. This better go well for the dog.
I didn't really get attached to any of the characters while watching the show, but like I immediately got attached to the dog because I was like, they wouldn't dare. They wouldn't dare. They would be shredded. You could mess up a lot of things in the show, and you might, like, the fans might forgive you, but like if you mess with the dog, I'm pretty sure that would have been the end of the show. And I'm not saying that to be dramatic. I very honestly, I knew the dog was going to be okay, and he was so cute. He was perfect.
My brother is big into video gaming, much like Marty's sister. And so he liked the show, but he definitely felt very similar about Dogmeat. Yeah,
Dogmeat's the best.
so there's lots of little things in there for him to enjoy. And so for me, because I don't do a lot of gaming like that, watching it, like I got to understand a lot of things he's been talking about because my little brother is a lot like me, and he will info dump, and I'll just stare at him, completely confused. As he does.
I imagine you watching the show was similar to me and my partner watching the show, because I have played Fallout and my partner had kind of sort of played a little bit of Fallout 4 like right when it first came out. So I would be freaking out and like info dumping about things while we're trying to watch this show.
Yeah. Yep, that's my brother.
Yeah, but then my partner went and played Fallout 4 while we were watching the show, like in between episodes, and then like after we finished the first season. And I did not, because I cannot play Fallout 4 for more than about 15, 20 minutes without getting motion sick. Thank you to the updates that PlayStation and Xbox made. Yay!
You're welcome.
Yeah, no, I don't need the graphics that good. I don't need the graphics that good. I can't play on these video games. I can't play the virtual reality. I can't play these fun little super cool graphics. I can play my little Nintendo because the graphics are terrible, and I don't feel like growing up after 20 minutes.
See, it's been so long since I've played video games that literally when somebody says something about like good graphics, I just think like, I'm like GoldenEye. Like I remember like the guy is spazzing out, like James Bond spazzing out in the corner, like those kinds of graphics. Is that like that's how ancient I am.
Okay, so
I love you so much, Marty.
I was stupidly excited when Wing Commander 3 had cinematic cutscenes in it, right? And so it was one of the not the first, but one of the first games that had cinematic cutscenes. And so they had like Mark Hamill playing the hero of the game. So it's really weird. I remember going to a con a couple of years ago, and the guy who played the Shredder, the Asian dude, was at the con, and he's done so many different things. He's done like TMNT. He was on the Tick Show as his um father or stepfather. Um and like he's done all this body of work, and I go up to him to get a signature signed, right? And it's from Wing Commander 3 because he was in Wing Commander 3 along with Mark Hamill. And so we're talking, and I was like, so how was it working with Mark Hamill on Wing Commander? And he looked at me and he just smiled. He's like, not one that I often get, but, and he just went into it. But he appreciated the fact that like I'm deep in the knowledge of the things that he's done in the past. And I love that game series. The reason I work in IT right now, right? And I know I'm going off topic, but the reason I work in IT is because to play that game back in like the 90s, you had to have 8 megabytes of RAM. 8 megabytes of RAM. And I only had 4 megabytes of RAM on the computer that my parents had bought me. And so they didn't have enough money to buy a brand new computer. So I had to learn how to upgrade that computer so I could play this game.
But
So-
wouldn't it be awesome if your story was the reason I got into IT was because of GoldenEye?
But the point is, like, the graphics, I
know.
get it because I was so
know.
excited about the
Yeah.
graphics and seeing the movie cutscene. And it makes me sad because I tried to watch, like they have that game on like the EA streaming service now. And I tried to like play it, and the cutscenes look horrible because it was so low resolution. And I'm like, oh,
I think maybe my New Year's resolution should be to like have resolution on one of my computers that I can actually play a game.
Resolution
told
for
you.
resolution.
I know.
I will help you build a
I'm
computer.
saving up the money. I'm saving it up. But then I'll probably just end up playing Star Trek Online and trying to see if I can get pets. I don't even know if
you can get
don't even know if
pets
you
on
can.
Star Trek.
I don't
This
know.
isn't important information.
I don't know, but if there are, I will get them. I'll just get them all. I'll have an enterprise full of cats. Cats are just running the enterprise.
I like playing Skyrim and then just like building a house and adopting kids. Like, fight the dragons? No, thank you. I'm gonna go mushroom picking and then go home and visit my kids.
I love it.
I mean, that's legit. Okay.
Oh,
Einstein.
Einstein.
I love Einstein.
He's perfect.
Wait, who's
So-
Einstein?
The dog.
Are we talking about the person?
Hit
So I guess
me.
so.
Well, there's
Back-
Copernicus and then there's Einstein.
Oh, okay. So I
Because-
thought Einstein was just like the longest lived dog ever.
No, he gets the same dog over and over again. He just loves that type of dog. That's his style. That's his dog. Like in the
Look,
50s, he's
a
got
time
Copernicus.
traveler.
He's a time
I'm-
traveling dog who changes
I'm
his
just
name.
just saying. Okay, this makes a lot more sense to me now because I forgot this piece of it. I was like, why does Einstein just live for like 90 years? But okay.
I like it better when it's just one dog, and then his name changes because people never call their pets by their name.
I mean, it makes it like. I remember as a kid believing that too, because when you see Copernicus in the older scenes, he's like a puppy. He's like young. So I thought, oh, he hasn't grown up yet. He hasn't become Einstein. And then, like when I was older, I realized, oh, it's two different dogs.
Yeah,
He just likes that breed.
Yeah, I was totally confused.
it's a little sad when you get a little older and you realize that dogs can't live that long. It's depressing. I was reading up about Einstein a little bit, and he was supposed to be a chimpanzee, which I think was a terrible idea. And I'm glad
Yeah.
that the studio was like, ew, that's. I don't even think they said it was too expensive. I think they said that
I would not have
movies
gone.
with apes in it never did well. Like they're like, oh, this is about our bottom line. Like we want to sell this movie and make money.
Clint
Wait,
Eastwood is
Kennedy
like, I'm
said
never
do
gonna
put a
well, I'm
fluffy
shocked.
puppy, and instead you can't have a chimpanzee.
I mean, I'm glad they picked the puppy, but
yeah, me
Right?
too. I mean, it makes sense. And I like that it's like there's a consistency with Doc Brown. Like, this is the breed he likes. This is the kind of car he likes. Like, you know, like he just is, he's consistent. And even though he's like trying to build and come up with new things, he's very stuck in his ways on the old things he likes.
He is.
I don't know.
He very much is.
it's Doc Brown. I mean,
But
Yeah.
like a little
I-
time traveling dog. He's so cute. He's so fluffy.
Maybe they were afraid that the time traveling situation with the chimpanzee would be too much like The Fly.
Oh, flashbacks in my
Right?
head just now. Oh,
I mean,
that was not cool.
what could possibly go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong? I do remember as a kid seeing the first film for the first time, being a little bit nervous because I was like, "What's going to happen to the dog in the car?"
The dog better be okay.
Exactly.
Oof.
I don't understand how Hollywood hasn't picked up on, as long as the pets are okay, we will watch the movie. But there's still movies out there where they do horrible things to pets. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Why? Why?
I don't get
what
it.
kind of
I
like
don't.
what kind of serial killer wrote this movie? Is all I'm thinking the
You
entire
know.
time.
Yeah.
It's
And
interesting
have
because
they checked their basements?
being a writer, like, it's something that we are also warned about, like in books, like, be careful what you do to pets, be careful what you do to animals, careful what type of animal it is, because readers, just like people watching movies, like they will just toss it. They're done. They'll close the book. They'll walk away. So you have to be like willing to accept that you're going to lose a huge readership if you do something to an animal.
I feel like this opens the door to something that Van wanted to say about a book,
Oh no.
isn't it?
I didn't do anything to an animal, did I? No.
You
Animals
had a
all
rant
live.
you were going to go on, Van.
That does not narrow it down. Wow. That does not narrow it down. Oh my goodness.
You said we need to narrow down our list because I need to go on a rant on rabbits. Leave the rabbit out of it.
Oh,
Yeah, I did.
that was a fake rabbit. That was a
Okay,
toy.
first
That
off-
wasn't a real
first off,
rabbit.
Yeah, but I did
You're a
I had
rabbit.
ran to you in person. And this is the first podcast we have recorded since your book got published, Marty. So yes, round of applause.
Oh, no.
Congratulations. Marty's
Thank you. Thank you.
Marty's paperback for Sweet Little
Yes.
Lies released in the US. So
Yep.
exciting. And your fourth book, The Man in Room 7, released
Yes.
not in paperback in the US until
Not yet.
July. Rude. I know you have
Very
no
rude.
control over that, but I feel like
No
that's,
control.
that's such a weird decision. But
Oh,
yeah,
no.
you put a not real
Not real.
rabbit in it, and it just happened to be a Peter Rabbit with a little blue jacket. And at the end of the book, I understand why you put it in. It makes sense. I understand. Also, how dare you? How dare you? Because I am bawling my eyes out in the
No.
prologue because my youngest had a little tiny Peter Rabbit with a blue jacket that he took everywhere for months. Everywhere we went, he had this little rabbit. So I was an emotional wreck in the prologue. But yes, congratulations on your fourth book.
I was an emotional wreck. Congratulations.
I was a wreck. I was driving. I had literally just dropped my kid off at school and was listening to the prologue on my way home from dropping that exact child off at school. It was a bad time. It was a bad time.
Well, you are not alone. There was somebody else who reached out to me as well and brought up the rabbit. And I was just, I'll be honest, I actually almost didn't put him in because I was like, do kids even know who Peter Rabbit is anymore? Like, do people still have Peter Rabbit stuffed animals? I didn't know. Like, I remember, I didn't think I had one, but I think my sister had one. So I just kind of pulled that out of my own childhood, and I was just like, maybe people know who this is, maybe not. I don't know.
So
But you're
I
not the
had
only one.
I had one growing up. Like, well, I don't know if it was a Peter Rabbit stuffed. It was a rabbit stuffed animal that I called Peter because,
Oh, okay.
right?
Makes
And
sense.
I'm still not over this. My brother, I was an only child for 7 years, and when my brother turned 3, right? So I was 10. He took my rabbit and never gave it back, and he still has it to this day. And I see him like he has it in the corner somewhere, and I still see him with it, and it still makes
Take
me
it.
mad. I want to
Take your rabbit
steal my
back.
Take it.
rabbit back.
Take it back. Take it
Steal
back.
my rabbit back. Like, you're not taking care of Peter Rabbit properly. I'm going to take it back.
Oh, yeah, no.
Take it back. Protect him.
See, we all have stuffed rabbit trauma. Thank you for writing that into your book.
You're welcome. Just for you guys.
So everyone
that.
listening, if you would like to experience some stuffed rabbit trauma, go pick up The Man in Room 7.
It's a stuffed animal rabbit. It's not a stuffed rabbit. It's a toy. So
Yeah, get the rabbit back. Go get your rabbit.
no
I am
rabbits
going
were
to get that
harmed
rabbit
in the
back.
writing of The Man in Room 7. So
It's going to be like that episode of Deep Space Nine where they have to get like Dr. Bashir's teddy bear back.
yes,
Yes. It's going to be exactly like that.
just like that.
Okay,
I love it.
last one,
Last.
I think, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Last one.
K9.
I feel like we had to touch on Doctor Who and talk about K9. He shows up a little bit in the reboot series. I am less familiar with the older Doctor Who, I will admit that. But he does show up in the reboot. And I love him. But I was talking to my siblings and cousins, and we were discussing different things as I was making the list. And one of them suggested K9, but then we started talking about, this is a robot. Is it a pet? Okay, it's probably a pet, but like, is Captain Jack Harkness like the stray cat that keeps showing up at your house? Like, you keep feeding it because it looks hungry, but like, it's not really your pet. Or the companions the Doctor's pet? And then we decided, no, the companions are not the Doctor's pet. The Doctor and the companions are the TARDIS's pet. So,
This is accurate. Because the TARDIS does what the TARDIS does. It never goes where the Doctor wants it to go. It just
it goes where he's needed.
It does go. Yeah.
It does when it becomes a woman in that fantastic episode. It does talk about how she kidnapped him, like she picked him. Like, you didn't steal me. I kidnapped you. So yeah, the Doctor is definitely the TARDIS's pet. And I guess your pet can have pets. So K9 is the Doctor's pet, and the Doctor is the TARDIS's pet.
This is an accurate description.
I just love how K9 looks. Like, if I were a child and I saw that on the screen, I would be like, I want that. Like, I want a pet like that. Completely impractical, of course, because that's not going to sit on my lap and cuddle. But like,
This is not cuddly at all.
I think K9 just looks so cool.
He does.
My cousin in the 80s introduced me to the old Doctor Who, like rewatching it on PBS. And he lives in Dallas, and we're going to forgive him for that because he lives in Dallas. But anyway, so I remember K9 from the old series, right? And like the Fourth Doctor onwards. And K9 was this adorable pet of the Doctor. Definitely a pet. Definitely adorable. They're different. Like, you never wanted anything bad to happen to K9. When something bad happened to K9, like, you would be extremely mad. And then the Doctor would go and like fix K9 because he actually loves K9. And so when K9 showed up in the new series, I screamed. And my mom just gave me the side eye because, of course. Yeah. But I love K9 so much. And I did want one when I was a kid. I was like, I want that toy. And
You should build
I-
one
You should. And then send it to me.
for your fourth Doctor cosplay.
This is true.
I need to. See, now I need to do that.
You
Yeah.
should
Damn it,
build one
Marty.
and then trade
Sorry.
with your brother to get your rabbit back. Like, here, I'll
Oh.
give you this super
No,
cool
No.
just
rabbit.
send K9 in to get the rabbit.
Yes.
I love it.
I want to make a K9.
You
Damn it,
should.
Marty.
It'd
See,
be a
now I
fun
have to get like
project.
a plasma
you,
torch and a
Marty.
welder.
Yeah, but how fun would that be? How did you learn to weld? By making K9.
I don't see
Robotics
anything
would be
wrong with this.
easy.
Yeah.
Damn it,
And
Marty.
if you can make it actually move, like on a remote controller or something, you could take it with you to cons
This is true.
and
People
put all of the things
go
you buy inside of
crazy.
it. Make it like hollow on the inside, so you can put things inside, like your purchases.
Genius.
It's like a purse, but it's a K9.
Genius.
You're welcome.
I feel like you've just destroyed my plans for the summer because I'm going to be probably setting my hair on fire trying to build this thing now. But I'm going to build it.
I feel
I
like
can't wait.
I feel like Marty fixed your summer plans because
I
whatever they
did.
were before,
They weren't this
No.
cool. They
They-
weren't this good.
your summer is fixed now. You can say thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, I'm still working on my bat left, but
Yeah, it'll happen eventually. It's fine.
Bat
kitchen
left?
first.
Wait,
Kitchen first,
did-
then the
did you
bat
say
left.
Like,
Yeah, I need one. I need one because I have a
Wow.
great idea.
wait.
For
So you said
some-
you're going to build one?
Well, I was gonna build one. That was my plan. Yeah.
You're going to forge one out of like steel, or
Uh,
like are we talking about
I guess I have to build a forge first.
like a scene from Conan where you're
I
like
haven't
on
do-
the forge and you're like,
I
Hammer.
was assuming foam because I have contemplated making
have-
a foam one because I can't
What?
take mine to cons.
Oh yeah. See, I haven't gotten that far yet in my thinking, but I just need it because I had this idea for this great series of Klingon exercise workout videos using a bat left. Like jazzercise
Yes.
jazzercise bat left videos. I had
Yes.
this in my head. It's a dream. It's a dream I've had since lunch. No, I'm just kidding.
but like a foam one or a metal one? I'm just curious.
I mean, whichever one I can most easily acquire or make first. Doesn't matter, right? I mean, if
I'm
I get
telling
some
you.
battle scars in the process, it just makes me more legitimate as a batlift jazzercise instructor.
Yeah.
I love
The
this
spilling
idea,
of blood is necessary.
but also we
With honor.
like a build video of you at a forge is still a possibility, is what I'm
Okay,
hearing.
there is a forge near me, so it's possible. I'll call them and I'll ask them.
You see, you laugh,
But
man, but
Then I need forehead ridges to go to the forge, so it
Well,
looks
yeah.
legitimate. Okay, I'm putting it on the list. It's on the list.
It's on the list.
I feel like if I'm going to make a canine, the least you can do is forge your own battle. All I'm
Oh.
saying.
All right. Challenge accepted.
I'm just saying.
I think it would
Like,
be
I bought
easier
mine
to
off of
build
Amazon like a loser, but you,
I got mine at a Renaissance festival, like the nerd I am.
okay, look. The Ren Fair is really
Well,
far
I
from
built
me.
myself a forge. I'm just kidding.
Like you could. Like I've watched videos on this.
I have
I've been-
two, actually.
Of course you have, because we are all the same people. Like,
That's true.
except I'm pretty sure Van is not trying to make a forge in her backyard. Though
No, I would make it
wonder-
in my dad's backyard, obviously.
Oh,
He's got
that's
way more space.
that's
My
smart.
dad wants one
Mhm.
anyways. He loves this idea. Hey, Dad, if you've made it this far in the podcast, we need a forge.
So
He's on
all
board.
I'm
I don't even
saying,
have to ask. He's on board.
I started going through the process of finding the materials to build a forge, and it was prohibited by my family.
I thought you were going to
Because
say prohibited by the state law or something.
I mean,
Did
probably
you
also
check?
prohibited by law. Like, I didn't check the law. Like, what do I care about the
What
law?
does your
I just built a
HOA
forge.
say?
What's your HOA say
HOA.
about a medieval forge in the backyard?
I have a Klingon flag flying. I don't think the HOA technically approves of that either. I don't care. I'm just saying. Well, my family is pretty sure I would kill myself if I built a forge because I have attention issues.
I mean, they can be dangerous. If you can't stand the heat, to get your batleth out of the forge, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Marty,
what?
I want you to build this. It would be much cooler if it was out of metal, but
Wouldn't it be hilarious? The film starts with, like, the hammer hitting the metal, sparks are flying.
Yes, this is how it's going.
Klingon the songs in the background, like,
Yes.
the beat, the forge.
Marty, I feel like you have to do this now.
In the video, Marty holds up a foam one or a cardboard one.
I just snap it.
Like made of paper mache.
We are a little bit off track, but I like these ideas. Okay. As soon as the kitchen is finished, I'm gonna get my Klingon on.
I feel like that's fair. Your kitchen is close though, so
a few more days. Guys.
Whoa.
I mean, if there's a forge fund, I will contribute to it.
Dun dun dun.
Okay.
Stay tuned.
I think we're done.
We are technically done. Slightly off topic.
I think, Marty, it's your turn to outro.
It's my turn to do the outro. Now I can't open the thing. I will start by saying thank you to everybody for watching today's episode of Another Frackin' Podcast, episode 10, Fluffy Interlude. We appreciate you for joining us. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and join us again for our next episode. We do not know what it's going to be about, but it's going to be about something fun and exciting, and we hope that you will join us again.
Yay! Perfect.
Going out to explore. Tuning comes to another frackin' podcast. Time travel, wormholes, and more. Chevron's locked on another frackin' podcast. Debating all the lore. We get signal of another frackin' podcast. Nerdy topics galore. Systems go for another frackin' podcast.